Hello, my name is Rusty Coones, and I have with me Savannah Rose, aka Mouse. Social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, expert, sets people up, does a lot of work for that. She also has Maiden Moto Traveling Art Show, which sounds like a really cool thing. And then also the art curator, Motorcycles as Art, at the Buffalo Chip in Sturgis, which is a cool ass place. I love that place. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Rusty. How are you?
Good, man. I'm glad to have you here.
I'm excited to be here.
Right on. Okay, so I want to go over all this stuff I just announced with you, but first I want to go back in history to when you first got on two wheels. What was that experience and when was it?
So unfortunately, it was not as young as I would have liked. I wish I could have been on dirt bikes as a kid, but my very first time on a motorcycle, I think I was about 13, and it was on the back of my mom's Sportster that I later bought and chopped up and made a very cute little Sportster chopper out of.
You have that bike now?
I do. My white chopper that pretty much everybody knows me for. That is the
Yeah.
first bike I ever rode on. Used to be purple, and my mom would take me to Cook's Corner.
Cook's Corner. Right on, man. That is cool. Yeah, right on. Okay, so after that, what was your next experience with motorcycles?
Uh, I was a passenger for years and years, and then
Mhm.
I think I was about 26. That would have been, I think it was 2013,
Uh-huh.
and I ended up buying a little Honda CB360T. Took the class, learned to ride, and the reason that I did that was because one of my good friends now, Emma, came to my house for a party. She was on her Triumph, and I said, you know what? If my mom can do it and she can do it, I can. And she encouraged me to and showed me this thing called Babes Ride Out that was just an Instagram post at that time. It was a camp out put on by a couple girls in the desert. We didn't even know exactly where we were going, but I took the class, went to Babes Ride Out, had a blast, and it's kind of been my entire life since then.
Right on. So it just took off from there, huh? Now, did you get really involved with social media to connect up with a lot of other women writers after that?
Yep. So back then, I mean, it was all Instagram. None of us, we didn't even really know each other's real names. We knew each other by Instagram names, which was pretty great. And
What's
then
your Instagram name?
I am the mouse in the motorcycle, or the mouse in the moto.
Right on.
Um, so that was pretty great. We all connected via social media, and it just became this big thing. And then I ended up working in social media.
And I see you travel all over the country. I've seen you've been in Daytona and pretty much coast to coast on a lot of stuff. Are you busy traveling a lot doing that every year?
Oh yeah. With motorcycle industry stuff, you got to be everywhere. And I do have a severe fear of missing out. So I like hitting as many rallies as I can. I started social media SNS years ago and got to, go to Sturgis, got to go to all the big rallies, and I can't not go back now.
How many events a year roughly are you doing, give or take?
Uh, at least six, probably more like 10.
Yeah.
I start with Daytona. Then I go to usually like Mama Tried. I'll go to Born Free. I'll go to Sturgis, Four Corners Rally, and whatever other chopper shows I can squeeze in between.
Now I know Born Free's got one going. Where is it? Texas now too, I think.
They just started in Texas last year. I went to that, had the art show, and plan on going back this year.
I heard it was really big.
It was really rad, and it's this sweet campground that Oliver Peck bought, and they're just making it awesome.
Right on. Right on. So the other thing that one of the other things you do is Maiden Moto Traveling Art Show. That sounds like a really badass thing. Tell me about that one.
So, there's a bunch of shows, there's all kinds of stuff, and primarily everybody features male builders just because that's who's
Yeah,
more prevalent.
mostly, it's mostly always been male dominated, but it's nice to see the girls coming in.
Yep. So I wanted to showcase some of those girls. I put together a list of really incredible artists, almost all of them who ride, minus our younger girls. I've had a 10-year-old and I think a 7 and 9-year-old both participate. Future riders who are going to do really cool stuff and just trying to showcase women and their art and get them seen and more visible.
I like the fact that you've got a traveling art show with actual art and motorcycles. That's a really cool concept right there. I dig that.
Yeah, it's always fun to try to get people, to bring more bikes, especially something that either women ride or have built.
So you said you have some youngsters as young as 7 and 9 involved. How do they participate in that?
They have all done different paintings.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's
Yeah.
really cool. The first little girl, she painted a panhead, and you can look at this and tell that it's a panhead. She has got a future in art for sure.
Right on. She'll probably be riding one of these days.
Oh yeah. There's actually a lot of kids who are doing really cool stuff. There's another little girl named Quincy. I think she might be 12 now, and she builds mini choppers like those little kicker 5150s.
Wow, man, that is cool. So how many of those are around the country? You just move around every year, you change venues and go to different cities with it?
So I was just doing any shows that were already existing since it already had a crowd. I
Sure.
displayed at Born Free, at the Buffalo Chip, and a few other shows that way there was already a big built-in crowd to get the most eyes on this that I could get.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. So tell me about what you've been doing with the Buffalo Chip.
So the Buffalo Chip is my home away from home for sure. Uh, and I've worked with them for a few years, doing everything from just covering events for different brands like SNS, all the way up to now I am working with the Buffalo Chip in a larger capacity and working on Motorcycles' Art Show that was previously run by the legend Michael Lichter.
Yeah, man, he's great. Unbelievable photographer.
He is an incredible photographer, and he's so sweet and always willing to teach people and get them more involved in art and the motorcycle scene and all of it.
I mean, he's been around for a long time. We were talking, and first time I went to Sturgis was 1981 when I was a youngster. He was there, and I think he started going to Sturgis somewhere in that era, you know, and it was crazy. They had what they call that, the city park. Everybody was camped out over there. Just hordes of people roaming around. I think they were on acid and just about everything all day. It was crazy. So they changed next year. They changed it. They didn't want that happening no more. You know what I mean? And Woody started the Buffalo Chip the next year, I think it was.
Yeah,
And look
he's
at
coming
what
up
he's
on another
built.
anniversary.
Yeah, he's got a city out there. I mean, it's amazing. What he's got is just incredible, you know. And to have your work going on out there, working with the art curation and everything, that's beautiful.
It's definitely a really cool thing to work with such a long running company that has just been such a pivotal thing in the motorcycle world. Sturgis is home to so many people, and so many people have never even been into the Buffalo Chip that they don't realize all of the stuff going on from the art show. There is multiple stages. There's I guess you could call it a lake. They've got everything. You don't have to leave the Buffalo Chip except to go on the incredible riding in the Black Hills.
Yeah. I mean, he's got everything. He says, you name it, you can show up without even a sleeping bag, and they've got everything you need.
Mm-hmm.
And it just gets better and better every year.
Yeah, we're working hard. Everybody is, gearing up for the 85th anniversary, which is going to be huge.
Right on, man. Right on. All right. So anyhow, what's your website and social media contact info so people can get a hold of you?
So my website is maidenmoto.com. It's MAIDENMOTO. And then I personally am the Mouse and the Moto on Instagram, and Maiden Moto is just at Maiden Moto on Instagram.
Right on. Well, it's been a great interview. You have anything else you want to add before we close it out?
Nothing. Just it's great to talk to you, and you're a legend yourself in the motorcycle world, so this is pretty cool.
Well, thank you. I look forward to seeing you around more. You know what I mean? I know that we've been at some events at the same time and just don't run into each other. You know what I mean? But I'll make it a point. I know you will. We'll get together. Okay.
I am definitely a crazy person running around, so if anybody sees me, feel free to stop me and say hi.
All right. All right. Good talking to you.
Great. Thanks, Rusty.